In this episode, we're going to take a dive into eBay's Fall Seller Update. What is up, Galaxians? Welcome to this special episode of the Galaxy CDs Rocks and Flips Reseller Talk podcast. My name is Ryan, and I will be your host as we go through the just announced 2023 eBay Fall Seller Update. Probably the two big takeaways to spoil the lead would be that there are no direct fee increases that are mentioned in this update. There are potentially some indirect fee increases, which we'll get to as we kind of go through this, but there are no specific fee increases coming from the Fall Seller Update. And secondarily, and this one will be big for a lot of resellers, while there are some category changes that are going to take place in October, there are no new required item specifics coming for fourth quarter. That is fantastic news, because in the past, eBay has dropped these massive amounts of required item-specific updates on sellers going into fourth quarter, which is a very difficult time to have to be messing with that because you got bigger fish to fry. So good news, there are none of those and no significant and direct fee increases. So with all that having been said, let's take a look at some of the kind of the highlights of this, and then we're going to dive into a couple of areas a little more in detail. So as always, they break it down into multiple sections. They say you'll learn about new innovations and improvements to how you create and manage listings, new promoted listings features, and so on. They've broken it down into kind of 5 categories, I believe it is. Running your business, which we're going to take a little deeper dive into. Listing and promoting, which we will also dive into. Fees and financials, this one's pretty straightforward, and I don't think this is necessarily new news, but you can opt in to get a paperless Form 1099-K. I say that I don't believe that's new because I did that last year. I got mine electronically, so I believe that's something that you could have done previously, and this is probably just a reminder that if you have not done that and would like to, you can opt in to get your 1099-K paperless. On an unrelated note, there is still legislation kind of working its way through Congress to potentially restore the original $20,000 threshold instead of the new $600 threshold for 1099-K. If you've been following the news at all, you know the government is potentially on the verge of a shutdown, so that kind of thing is a bit of a back burner at the moment, but there does seem to be bipartisan support for raising that payment threshold. $600 is frankly, it's a pretty onerous amount for casual people who may have just sent money to friends and family and have to try to figure out how to account for it on their taxes. So we'll see how that goes, but be aware that that is still potentially brewing, and is there may be some good news on that front yet to come. There's some updates on shipping, some new international shipping updates and some regulations there that we'll get into a little bit. And then they did send out a separate notice earlier this week about some updates to their user agreement. So they clarified, for starters, that generative AI tools and content may be offered. So this goes, and we're going to talk a little bit about this as we go through kind of some of these updates, but they've added it to their terms of service that they are offering this AI tool for descriptions and listings. The key takeaway in that section that I read through, however, is that you, as the seller creating the listing, bear full responsibility still for the content of that listing. If you use the AI tool to generate your description and it includes inaccurate or incorrect information, that is your responsibility to update, fix, correct, whatever term you want to put on it, to make sure that when you publish that listing, it is right. That is not eBay's responsibility. It is not the responsibility of the tool. So I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. If you are going to use that tool, you're going to want to take some time to review those product descriptions to make sure that they are in fact accurate and correct before you list, because it's now in their terms of service that they are not responsible. And the upshot of all of that is if you sell an item based on an erroneous product description, eBay is not going to be liable for the error that their AI generated. You, as the seller, bear responsibility and any liability for that incorrect description. So just be aware that if you're going to use that tool, you want to make sure that it's right. They did provide additional information on the international buying and selling programs, including the new international shipping program. Most of those changes that I could see revolved around removing information about the previous global shipping program and any references to Pitney Bowes. I didn't really see a bunch of new updates in the user agreement about international shipping other than deleting that old, no longer valid language. They outlined more details related to our personalization considerations. Some of that is kind of interesting. Again, there's no place you can go, unfortunately, to see a summary of all of this, but one of the things they talk about is the ability to use customers' information to potentially generate new product offerings. So that may be kind of new sales features and whatnot. They're not real clear on what that means, but there is some stuff going on there. And then lastly, of course, they updated their arbitration terms, and that is a very lengthy section. And again, there is no breakout, unfortunately, of what changed and what didn't. I read through it. A lot of it sounds like what I talked about in the last full episode with Mercari's updates regarding the desire to go to individual arbitration rather than class action arbitration or lawsuits. So if you have questions on their arbitration terms, you'll want to go look at the updated user agreement. But that kind of covers what's in that section. Nothing too exciting there. The first section, we're going to dive into running your business. There's a ton of updates in this group. There are new improvements to reduce unpaid items for buy it now and best offer listings, something they have been talking about now for, it feels like a long time, but it appears as though they have finally got it under control and are now, in fact, actually going to take the next step. We'll talk about that in a minute. A simple way to meet European regulatory requirements. There are some new requirements coming if you sell to customers in Europe, and a description of what those are. So, new improvements to reduce unpaid items for buy it now and best offer listings. Changes to buy it now purchases. We've increased the price threshold for buy it now items that require immediate payment. This update allows you to sell higher priced buy it now items and ensures that buyers are required to provide a payment method during checkout to secure their item. It does not specify what that new amount is, but that they have raised it. Best offer updates. All buyers, it says, are now required to add payment method when making offers on best offer listings. I commented a couple of weeks ago that I was still having some come through that were not requiring best offers, or requiring rather immediate payment on best offers. However, over the last week or so, I have not had any of those. So it seems like they have got this pretty tightly nailed down. After you accept the offer, they say will automatically charge the buyer's chosen payment method so they won't have to return to eBay to complete their purchase. They highlight that these changes are automatically applied to buyers' offers, so you don't need to update or make changes to your current best offer listings. We also plan, this is interesting, to launch similar changes for seller-initiated offers, buyer counter offers, and auctions to even further improve the experience for sellers. So that's great news, because right now, if you send out an offer as a seller, the buyer still has 4 days to pay. They're working on changing that so that if the buyer wants to accept that offer, they have to input a payment method at that time. That would be fantastic, because I can't tell you how many times I've sent out an offer and then it's just crickets waiting for them to go ahead and make the payment once they've accepted. So that's good news. They're also implementing stricter policies, including potentially account suspensions for users who repeatedly win auctions or make best offer on items but fail to complete the purchase. So once all of this stuff is automated and a payment method is required, this really should not be a problem anymore, but it's still in those other categories that are not buy it now or best offer. There is still the potential for people to not pay, and they are here taking the next step and cracking down on those buyers that are not making payments. So that is great news. They do have a question and answer section. I'm not going to go through all those, but one key one here: can I still offer combined shipping for multiple items purchased by the same buyer? This is a problem when you do offers. We are aware of potential challenges with combined shipments that this may cause and are actively working to address this. In the meantime, you can send buyers a refund, which is what I do in many cases, for any excess shipping charges if needed, if a buyer's payment is completed after winning a bid or an offer is completed. So just be aware of that. They're working on a way where if a buyer sends you multiple offers or ultimately you send multiple offers to the same buyer on an item, that they could lump all of that into one combined invoice. Currently, when an offer is accepted, the buyer is automatically charged for that item. I had a person the other day that bought 3 items. They were charged 3 separate times, and it forced me to go in and refund the overpayment for shipping. It's not that big a deal, but it would certainly be nice if that was all streamlined, and to eBay's credit, they are working on it. A simple way to meet European regulatory requirements. You can update your business seller account to comply with the new Digital Services Act. The Digital Services Act is a regulation established by the European Commission to promote consumer protection. European law requires business sellers using online marketplaces like eBay to include their business contact details on listings offered to buyers in the European Union. So be aware of that. If you're going to sell with the International Shipping Program, you're going to be required to display, if you are a business account with eBay. If you're an individual seller, this does not apply. This is only for sellers registered on eBay with a business account. Starting in early 2024, again, if you are a registered business seller who sells to buyers in the EU, you'll need to show your business contact details on listings available for purchase. We know following new or updated regulations can be difficult to track and take time. So we've made it easy, they said, for you to provide your customized business contact information. Here's what you need to do. Log into eBay, your account settings on My eBay, and navigate to a new page called Public Business Information. As of 2 hours ago when I checked, no such page existed yet. So you'll want to keep an eye on that. Obviously, this regulation doesn't go into effect until early next year, so there is some time, but they do talk about in this update that you can go into your account settings. They make it sound like you could do that now and update your information. That is not, I could not find that particular page in the My eBay account settings, so just be aware of that. Double check your verified business phone number and email. They'll be pre-populated based on what you included when you registered as a business seller. If needed, you can change those pre-populated phone numbers and emails. We recommend you use your business customer service information if applicable. If you sell to EU buyers, they will be able to find your business contact details on listings available to them. So be aware of that. That information is going to show on each individual listing. It's going to have your address, your email, your phone number. It's all going to be out there. So be aware of that. There are some questions with this section. Which sellers would be required to provide their business information? If you are registered, again, as a business seller on eBay and have listings eligible for purchase by EU buyers, then you will have to provide your business information. This begins again in early 2024. Your business seller information will appear on those listings available to buyers in the European Union. What information will be on that listing? Your business name, address, verified email and phone number, and where relevant, business registration number will appear on your listings available for purchase to EU buyers. It's recommended you include your business customer service contact information, phone and email if applicable. If I work out of my home, do I have to provide my business information? And again, yes, you will need to provide your customer-facing information if you have registered as an eBay business seller. So that's the key. If you are on eBay as an individual seller, you're not going to be required to do this. If you are registered, however, as a business seller on eBay, all of this is going to apply to you. Public-facing seller information will appear on those listings, again, beginning in 2024. Interestingly, if you use eBay's international shipping, do I still need to include this information? And of course, the answer is yes. You will still need to include your business contact information. This is a requirement based on the Digital Services Act. By displaying your information on those listings, you'll comply with the objectives of the DSA to drive transparency and increase trust. So be aware of that. If you are registered as a business seller, at some point, you're going to have to go in and make sure your information is updated. They don't specify here that if you don't do that, what they're going to do. I assume that they may have some mechanism to delist those items. It's not clear how they're going to handle it, but it is a requirement if you're a business account selling on eBay that you provide that information. So that is coming. As I said, the link that they mentioned, the page that they mentioned as of a couple of hours ago when I went to look, is not yet available. Updates for listing and promotion. So there's a whole bunch of stuff coming with listing and promotion. You can easily link your social accounts to your eBay account. This is something they've been rolling out for quite some time. You can spotlight coupons on your storefront. You can send offers for multiple listings at once with the eBay app. That just went into effect a couple of weeks ago, and it is glorious. I talk about a lot on this show how many offers I send out, and the inability previously to do that on the app was a real bummer. Now, I'm sitting in my easy chair watching TV late at night, and I open up my app and I see that I've got a bunch of stuff eligible for offers. I can just do it right from the phone. It's awesome. Again, list faster and easier with new AI-powered features. We're helping buyers find your items by making changes to our categories. That one is a little interesting. A new dynamic bidding strategy coming soon for Promoted Listings Advanced, which is the pay-per-click. They've been talking about this for a little while as well. And they're introducing smart targeting for Promoted Listing Advanced. So a lot going on there. You can, with your social accounts, you can create posts, get detailed data, and more with the social page, which is now available to all sellers. Earlier this year, they launched this social page in the Seller Hub, making it easier for store subscribers to create custom posts by connecting their eBay account to their social accounts. Now, the social media page is available to not only store subscribers, but all sellers in the Seller Hub. So even if you don't have a store subscription, you will now have access to this. They say save time by linking your Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest accounts and create custom posts that'll delight your customers and drive traffic to your listings. You can also post to multiple platforms at once and get insights into the traffic you're receiving to your store, your listings, and other eBay assets from social media. While the social page includes Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest for now, we are exploring new ways to offer you a seamless integration with even more platforms in the future. So I'm not currently using this yet, but it is something that is available if you've got a big social media following for your store or your eBay account. This is something that I would think would be very, very useful to highlight new listings in your shop. You can also spotlight coupons on your storefront. We're making it easy for store subscribers to highlight active promotions by rolling out a new sale tab on the storefront. This tab will feature all your coupon sales in one place. It's important to note this is only for coupon sales. It doesn't include any other kinds of promotions at this time. And make it easier for buyers to find your sale items. With this update, your coupon offers will automatically be up front and center on your storefront, helping turn browsing visitors into happy buyers. The sale tab will automatically appear for store subscribers who've created at least one promotional coupon offer. They do say they are exploring ways to include other promotions such as markdowns under the sale tab in the future. Now, every month I go in and I run promotions. I mark down older inventory through the promotions and markdown section. And within the store customization, you can put up a banner that will link to one of those promotions. So there's not going to be a tab yet for it. That's what they're going to work on. There is still a way to do that by editing your storefront. So you can still drive some traffic with that, but this is a kind of a new feature. If you want to create a coupon offer that'll show up in a sale tab on your storefront, visit the coded coupons page to get started. The eBay app, the send offers for multiple listings. We kind of covered this. You can now send offers for multiple listings at the same time on the eBay app. In the past, you could only send offers one at a time. Now you can save time on the go, target those interested buyers, and boost your conversion rate by sending those offers. Love it. It is fantastic. List faster and easier with new AI-powered features. They're really hyping this. We've talked about it a couple times on this show already. We're rolling out new features to empower you to create eye-catching listings more efficiently than ever. These features are already live for some sellers and will be gradually rolling out across the eBay in the coming weeks and months. So some people will not have this yet for some time. AI-generated item descriptions, which we just talked about, and improved background removal tool. These item descriptions are now available, they say, to all U.S. sellers listing in most categories and in the eBay app. It is only available in the app at this time. They say the new feature can save you time by suggesting an attention-grabbing item description at the touch of a button. You can use the suggested description as is, or easily customize it to add more detail, adjust for accuracy, they point out, or fit your business's unique voice. Try it out today to get your listings up and running faster than ever before. They're also adding an improved background removal tool. They're upgrading the current tool, making it easier than ever to showcase your item on a white background and increase your listing's chances of standing out. I put my items on a white board already, so I don't use that tool. But if you don't have access to something like that, this is a pretty handy tool. And it sounds like the new version of it is going to be even more impressive than the previous one. That stuff will all be available in coming months to all sellers. Again, some questions. What if my listing is inaccurate because of the automatically generated information? eBay says, our goal is to put industry-leading tools at your fingertips to streamline how you list. While these new features can assist in suggesting listing details, AI doesn't always get it right. It's important to double check and ensure all information is correct before your listing goes live. Remember, sellers are responsible for the accuracy of their listings. I know I sound like I'm just beating a dead horse here. I cannot stress this enough. You do not want to have an inaccurate listing because you trusted this AI. So like I talked about a couple of weeks ago, I'm not using it because frankly, it's faster for me to generate my own description than it is to read through theirs and make the appropriate edits for clarity and accuracy. So I'm not using it. This may be great for new sellers who are uncomfortable with creating listings, but again, it's problematic for them because they may not be as cognizant of what is accurate or inaccurate in a listing. So this is, I don't know, man. The whole AI thing is interesting and it's got great potential, but all of this seems a wee bit early to me. But anyway, the double bottom line is if you use the tool, make sure that you are correcting for accuracy. Is it possible that my AI-generated listing descriptions will be the same as someone else's? This feature, they say, creates a unique description each time it is used based on information in your listing. That means it's extremely unlikely for it to generate multiple identical descriptions. However, as always, if you see an issue, please contact us to report it. So they're not saying no. It is probably unlikely, but if you are the kind of person who cuts and pastes some other listing's title, in that particular case, there is probably a better than 50-50 chance that it will generate at least a very similar description because you've used the exact same information that was in the listing that you're using as an example. So just kind of be aware of that. Are these features available only in the eBay app? Currently, the AI-generated descriptions are only available in the app. Improved background removal is, however, available in the app and anywhere you use the new unified listing experience. So if you're still using the desktop app and using the old version of it, the new background removal tool will not work. But if you are using the new unified tool, it will. We're working towards rolling these new features out across all platforms. Can I use these features to update an existing listing? Kind of interesting. Yes, AI-powered descriptions and improved background removal can be used to update existing listings through the eBay app. Improved background removal tool can also be used to update existing listings through the advanced listing tool. Just edit the listing as usual to access these features. So cool stuff coming there. Just be aware, it's still all on you. They are helping buyers find your items by making changes to our categories. This is where I talked about potentially some indirect fee increases. So while there are no direct fee increases, they're not raising the fees on any particular items. They are making some category changes, and there will be some items potentially moving from one category to another. And when that happens, those items are now subject to whatever the fee for the new category is. So be aware if you've got some stuff that falls into these categories that there may be some fee changes. Some of them may go up, some of them may go down, but the gist of it is when they move to a new category, they will have that category's fees applied, not the one you originally listed the item in. So just be aware. We continue to make category changes to bring eBay into closer alignment with industry standard classifications, enhance search engine optimization, and make it easier for domestic and international buyers to find your items. Starting from October 24th, Listings in the selected categories outlined below will be automatically moved to the most relevant new category. This may result in a change in final value fees. It, as I said, may either be an increase or a decrease. You do not need to do anything. The process is going to be automatic, so no action is required. Following these changes, your listings will automatically be moved to the most relevant categories and your buyers will be able to find them more easily. No new updated item specifics required according to any of this. Now, you may want to go in and check those listings in these categories to make sure that they are, in fact, accurate and have everything they need. But normally when they do this, if they're going to require a bunch of new item specifics, they specify what those are, and they're not doing that here. So hopefully that means there will not be any. This article highlights a few of the key changes. They do have a full category change page link available, and I'll link to all of this, of course, in the show notes and the video description below. Some of the ones that are being impacted: parts and accessories, performance parts. They're moving performance exhaust, driveline and transmission, chassis, suspension, and brakes categories into their new corresponding categories under car and truck. They're also moving diagnostic equipment and tools category into its new category under automotive tools and supplies. Automotive tools and supplies, they're changing that category to more accurately categorize products and simplify the buying experience. Additional category changes can be found, and there is a link. They're making some changes in fashion. We've added a replacement shoebox category to let you list empty shoeboxes independently from regular sneakers. In lifestyle, they're creating a separate category for firearm magazine extenders, which will help them comply with applicable laws and regulations for magazine capacity. And in just general policy terms, they are retiring some categories that are no longer compliant with regional regulations or eBay policies. Will help you stay in line with any legal changes that ensures that non-compliant items aren't listed on the site. So if you have something in some of these categories, and again, there's a full list of them in the link, they may become unavailable if that category disappears. So you might want to take a look at that. Promoted Listing Advanced is getting a couple of new features coming soon. Dynamic bidding. Dynamic rate is already available on the standard program, but dynamic bidding is coming to the advanced. There's a new dynamic bidding strategy coming soon for Promoted Listings Advanced that automatically optimizes your bids, creating a more efficient way of helping you stay competitive. Your keyword bids will be automatically adjusted to match their daily suggestions. I've talked about that in the standard program. I'm using a flat right now, 7%, and almost every day the recommended rates are 9.8 to sometimes as high as 12 or 12.5. So if you use this, just be aware it's going to automatically adjust to their recommended daily rate. Next steps. Soon you'll see a new option when creating or editing an existing campaign to enable that strategy. They're also doing something called Smart Targeting for Promoted Listings Advanced, designed to save you time by simplifying the setup process and automatically updating and maintaining your ad campaign settings. With this Smart Targeting, you can easily promote your chosen listings while we take care of bidding and targeting for you. That makes me a little nervous, especially in conjunction with them automatically adjusting potentially to their maximized rate. They could be sending out a lot of links. When creating a campaign, you'll now be able to choose between two options: Smart for a fast campaign setup and automated management, or Manual for more control over the setup and ongoing optimization. They say it'll give you more placements, more visibility with Promoted Listings Advanced. With this release, you'll also get access to new ad placements, including relevant listing pages, in addition to existing slots in search results. This will provide more ways for your listings to get discovered across eBay. Please note, these ad placements are currently only available for Promoted Listing Advanced campaigns that use Smart Targeting. So if you manually do that, you're not going to get all these extra little bonus placements. So if you're using that program, Promoted Listing Advanced, there are some changes coming down the road that will probably make eBay a lot more money. And they may ultimately make your business better as well, but I guess we'll have to see about that. Lastly, in shipping, there's some updates. Combined shipping for international shipping is coming, and the ability to offer different shipping methods internationally will be coming. So those are both kind of cool things. Coming soon, combined shipping for eBay International. We've heard your feedback and are excited to launch combined shipping on international orders. By offering this option, buyers' shipping costs will be determined by the weight and size of their entire order rather than separately for each individual item. This is awesome. I've not had a lot of multiple international item orders, but I can imagine there are a lot of sellers who do, and this not having this ability has probably been an enormous pain in the backside for both buyers and sellers. So this is terrific. With this new feature, eBay International Shipping will offer lower shipping costs for your buyers, allow buyers to more easily order multiple items from the same seller. In theory, it should increase conversion and eliminate significant seller pain points, including the need for sellers to opt out of eBay International Shipping or create new combined listings specifically for one buyer. So they say this is available now. I haven't, like I said, I don't get that many orders that way, so I have not personally seen it, but it's apparently available now. Coming soon, the ability to offer different international shipping choices for buyers. We know that buyers value having the ability to choose. That's why we plan on giving them the option to select their preferred shipping method at checkout when purchasing internationally. In the past, sellers could offer only eBay International Shipping or their own international shipping option on a listing. It was either or. You were either shipping it yourself or it was eBay's program. Now, sellers who opt in will be able to offer both eBay International Shipping and another international shipping option on the same listing. This will give buyers the option to pay applicable import charges at checkout or defer them until delivery. Sellers interested in offering buyers an alternative shipping option will be able to opt in. It's important to note that should you offer both eBay International Shipping and another international shipping option, and a buyer selects the non-eBay International Shipping option, you will be charged the international selling fee, which is waived if you use EIS, and will be responsible if the item gets lost or damaged in transit, which eBay handles if you use their program, or your buyer requests a return. eBay currently takes care of that for you as well, so you're not paying return international shipping and having to deal with all that. You can visit the eBay International Shipping Program page for more information on how to update your listings. I'm using eBay's International Shipping Program. It still has problems with excluding countries that it shouldn't, but once you have used the workaround to make that work, it's been great. You're not having to deal with returns. You're saving money on the fees. So unless you have a very specific reason to ship on your own, my personal feeling is I would prefer to use eBay's International Shipping Program, ship it to them, and then from that point forward, I'm off the hook. It's all on them. Can I combine anything into one order is one of the questions they ask here. Items from certain categories, such as goods containing lithium-ion batteries, might be excluded from combined shipping due to dangerous goods regulations. Those items obviously have to have special labeling on the package. So if somebody buys something with something like that and, say, a book, those items probably will not be able to be combined. They ask, what will be the default shipping option shown to buyers? During the initial launch, the default option will be the one with the lowest shipping cost. In the coming months, we'll evaluate buyer purchasing behavior and make adjustments to how the default option is selected in order to maximize buyer conversion. So that's something that they're going to be working on for international shipping. So there's a lot there. Again, a lot of it is not new. It's stuff that eBay has talked about previously. Some of these things are already in place and they're just kind of hyping them up. Some of them will be rolling out over the next few months. There's some good stuff there. There's some stuff that's still probably work in progress for me, like the AI tool. But on balance, this is a fairly, it's not a great update, but it's a good update, and it doesn't look like it's going to require any additional work, where that has been the big problem with a lot of these fall seller updates, is that they've demanded a lot of effort to implement things for sellers going into fourth quarter, and this one does not have that. So I'm fairly happy with all of this. If you're watching on YouTube and you have any questions, comments, suggestions, thoughts on this, please leave them in the comments down below. If you're listening to the podcast, please feel free to reach out by email, galaxycds@gmail.com, or you can always DM me over at Instagram at GalaxyCDsRocks. If you found this podcast/video useful, helpful, informative. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor, whack that thumbs up button. If you're not currently a follower of the podcast or a subscriber to the YouTube channel, please consider doing that. And if you have like-minded reselling friends that might get some value out of this, be sure to forward this video on to them as well. That's going to put a wrap on the eBay Fall Seller Update special episode. I wasn't planning on doing anything, and then this thing popped up late this morning. I thought, let's go ahead and cover this thing and get this information out there. We'll talk a little bit in the next episode about a couple of things going on in the legal world with reselling platforms and a couple of other issues, and hopefully we'll have some kind of recap of eBay Open. I am not attending eBay Open. I've had entirely too much to do to go to that, but they usually do a pretty good job of recapping it, so we'll cover some of that as well. Until next time, it's time to sell. Thanks, guys. You have been listening to the Galaxy CDs Rocks and Flips Reseller Talk podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you again next time.